India has, you have to understand, for many years it was a one-sided relationship. Only now, since I came along, and because of the power that we have with tariffs, India was charging us tremendous tariffs, about the highest in the world. They were about the highest in the world.
The President of the United States, Donald Trump, has taken a direct swipe at India, calling the US-India trade relationship a one-sided disaster. His words, not ours. And they came notably just as Prime Minister Modi stood alongside Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit in China. Coincidence? Perhaps not. In fact, he even claimed India has now offered to cut tariffs to nothing. But in his words, it's getting late. Late for what exactly? Well, let's bring some facts to the table. In 2025, the US imported $56.3 billion worth of goods from India. It exported $22.1 billion to us. Yes, that's a trade surplus in India's favor, $34.3 billion to be precise. But trade isn't a zero-sum game. When you include services like IT, consulting, finance, this story changes. In 2024, both countries exchanged about $83.4 billion in services, nearly evenly split. So while America buys more of our physical goods, we buy just as much of their invisible exports like software, data, engineering know-how. Trump may call this imbalance unfair, but some analysts argue, is it really a disaster or just economics doing what economics does best? Nations trade based on comparative advantage. India makes affordable medicines, textiles, gems. The US sells aircraft, gold, and military hardware. Speaking of which, India has bought over $24 billion in American arms since the year 2008. That includes Predator drones, Apache helicopters, and surveillance aircraft. In 2024 alone, the United States cleared $5 billion in defense sales to India. That's not a one-way street, that's a business partnership. So what's really behind all this noise? Some say it's economics, others say it's political. But many believe it's geopolitical theater, staged precisely because India is asserting independence on the world stage. And Trump doesn't like when partners act like powers. Trade is numbers, but diplomacy is nuance. And as India walks a tightrope between Washington and Moscow, between strategic autonomy and economic ambition, the real story isn't who's winning more, it's about who's willing to play fair. Because if Trump wants a mega partnership, as he once claimed, calling India a great friend, then he'll have to accept that great friends don't always say yes. They sometimes say enough.